This is Jarrod Horak, and this is my latest Belmont Stakes update. It's Saturday, May 25th, and we're 2 weeks out from the Belmont Stakes now. I've been doing these Belmont Stakes updates, and I just did one yesterday. I talked about your 2-year-old champion Fierceness, your beaten Kentucky Derby favorite. He was 15th in that race, getting cooked on the pace. He had a team workout with Mindframe, his stablemate, and they are 2 of 13 possibilities for the Belmont Stakes. Now we have 4 possible starters from the Todd Pletcher barn. Most likely all 4 won't run. We have 2 possibilities for trainer Kenny McPeak, Thorpedo Anna, your Kentucky Oaks winner, and Kentucky Derby winner Mystik Dan. Only one of those 2 will run in the Belmont for McPeak. And then Chad Brown has 2 possibilities. Sierra Leone, Kentucky Derby runner-up, is considered a definite starter. Tuscan Gold is a possible starter. Now I do have updated news for 4 Belmont Stakes hopefuls for May 25th. Honor Marie, Sierra Leone, the Wine Steward, and Tuscan Gold. Now, Honor Marie was a troubled 8th in a 20-horse field in the Kentucky Derby. He's a closer. He's definitely going to need some pace help in the Belmont Stakes. Now, he had a workout on May 25th at Churchill Downs, and that was in company with Maiden Anthem King, 5 furlongs, 101.40, 27th best of 51. And his trainer was happy with the energy level that he showed in this workout. He's going to have one more move prior to the Belmont Stakes. Now, Anna Marie's going to need a new rider for the Belmont because his rider, Ben Curtis, he's injured and out of action. He's going to need a new rider for the Belmont, and that rider hasn't been listed yet. Now, Sierra Leone, second by a nose in the Kentucky Derby as my top choice, could have easily won that race if he didn't lug in the stretch. Now, he had a workout at Saratoga on the dirt training track on May 25th in company with his workmate, Domestic Product. And he worked inside of Domestic Product, and this was a maintenance move. 5 furlongs, 102.64, 5th best of 6 on the day. Chad Brown wasn't looking to break any stopwatches. He just wanted a nice solid maintenance move to maintain fitness levels. The fractions of this workout, 13.28, 25.87, 37.95. They galloped out 6 furlongs in 115.78, 7 furlongs in 128 and change. Also, a good move from both horses. Again, solid maintenance move. Domestic Product is the better workhorse of the 2, and they worked fairly evenly in this work. And I have some major Sierra Leone news from a rider standpoint. Chad Brown has announced a rider switch from Tyler Gaffalione to Flavien Prat. Now, according to Chad Brown, Tyler Gaffalione did a lot of things right in the Kentucky Derby, but the big mistake that he made is he didn't switch to his left stick early enough in the stretch. And Sierra Leone was lugging in, and that definitely cost him the race. He would have been able to switch quicker like he did in the Bluegrass Stakes. He was able to switch over, keep him off of other horses, and he was able to win that race. So he has that habit. That's a bad habit of lugging in, and they're going to try to do everything they can to correct that for the Belmont Stakes. And he was able to overcome lugging in before. And I think the main reasons, they were shorter fields. He was the best closer in those races. He was running past his rivals, and they were able to keep him clear of those rivals before he lugged in too much. Now, in the Derby, he was trying to run down Mystik Dan, who had a clear lead in the stretch. And then he had Forever Young to his inside. And Forever Young is a closer with similar ability as Sierra Leone. And he was able to match strides with Sierra Leone in the stretch, and he couldn't get away from that one. And Gaffalione didn't switch over quick enough to keep him off of Forever Young, and that cost him the race. He just lost by a nose, and if he would have won by a nose, Gaffalione would certainly still be on him. So this kind of thing happens all the time in racing. You see rider changes, and the fact that that happened in the biggest race of the year, the Kentucky Derby, in front of millions of people. And Chad Brown really wants to win the Kentucky Derby. He's very disappointed, and he's making the switch here. And whatever direction he decided to go would have been fine with me. If he kept Gaffalione, that would have been fine. Flavien Prat, solid rider. He's one that doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He gives his horses every chance to succeed. And I would expect that he's going to get along well with Sierra Leone. But they're also going to try some new equipment. And they did try some in this work. He had a cage bit, and they wanted to switch up the bit to give the rider more control. And then Brown might tweak that some more prior to the Belmont. We'll have to see what they decide to do there if they go with that new equipment. But that's a possibility, but they're definitely switching riders to Flavien Prat. Now, as for Domestic Product, Sierra Leone stablemate, he might run in the Woody Stevens Stakes at 7 furlongs on the Belmont Stakes undercard. So they might cut him back in distance. We'll have to see if they end up doing that. Now the Wine Steward, second in the Peter Pan Stakes in his last start. He had a workout in his first workout since the Peter Pan, and he worked 4 furlongs and 48 flat, 23rd best of 180 workouts at Churchill Downs on May 25th. So we'll see if the Wine Steward ends up going in the Belmont Stakes at 1.25 miles this year. Now, typically the Belmont is run at Belmont Park at 1.5 miles. They have ongoing construction at Belmont Park, so the Belmont this year has been moved to Saratoga, and it has been shortened to 1.25 miles. So the shorter distance is going to help the Wine Steward, but I still think 1.25 miles could be too far for him. In the Peter Pan, at 1 1/8 miles, he was second. He was losing some ground late to Antiquarian, and I don't know that 1.25 miles is going to be a better distance for him. I actually think maybe a 1-turn mile, or maybe up to 1 1/16 miles is probably better for the Wine Steward, but we'll see what they end up doing. He's very consistent. Now, Tuscan Gold for trainer Chad Brown. They haven't decided if they're going to run him yet. I picked him in the Preakness Stakes, and Chad Brown said he just didn't handle that wet track, and he was just an even 4th of 8. He was bumped out of position early, passed some runners late, showed a little bit of late interest, but was never threatening the top finishers in that race, and he was 4th. So Chad Brown just wants to draw a line through that one. He had a good improvement pattern in his speed ratings prior to the Preakness Stakes, and he's very lightly raced. So he's one that still has a lot of upside, and we'll have to see if they end up going in the Belmont. They're going to make that decision next weekend after he works for the Belmont Stakes. He's going to have a workout. They're going to watch that workout closely, see what his energy levels look like, and then they're going to make a decision. Now, if he does run, it would be interesting. Tyler Gaffalione has been his rider, so we'll have to see if Tyler Gaffalione ends up on Tuscan Gold in the Belmont Stakes. So those 4 horses had some Belmont Stakes news today. The other 9 Belmont Stakes hopefuls in alphabetical order are Antiquarian. He's the Peter Pan winner. Batten down, 1.25 mile maiden winner for Belmont last time out. Dornoch, he won the Remsen Stakes as a 2-year-old. He defeated Sierra Leone by a nose that day. And then this year he won the Fountain of Youth Stakes prior to disappointing in his last couple starts. Sierra Leone turned the tables on him in the Bluegrass Stakes and in the Kentucky Derby. Now, Fierceness, your 2-year-old champion, he's an in-and-out type. Sometimes he shows up and runs big races. Typically, when he can get out there, the pace is more controlled, and he can control that pace. He'll run a big race. If he doesn't get an ideal start, the race shape isn't to his liking, he typically doesn't run a good race. So he's hard to trust, but he's got a lot of ability. Mindframe, 2 for 2 in his career for trainer Todd Pletcher, and a combined win margin over 21 lengths. So Mindframe, very lightly raced, a lot of ability, just don't know where he is from a class standpoint at this early point of his career. Then you have Kentucky Derby winner Mystik Dan. He was second in the Preakness Stakes, and they're going to monitor him, see how he's doing training up to the Belmont Stakes, and if he has enough energy, he looks to be doing well. Ken McPeak will run him in the Belmont. Now, he had a gallop on Friday, looked pretty good in that gallop. He showed some decent energy. Protective is a maiden for trainer Todd Pletcher, and he's hit the board in the Wood Memorial and the Peter Pan Stakes, finishing 3rd in both of those races. We'll have to see if they go for the Belmont, go for a maiden race, or go for an easier stake spot. Sees the Gray, back-to-back stakes wins. He won the Pat Day Mile on the Kentucky Derby undercard, and he wired the field on a wet track in the Preakness. So he's one that's in great form right now for trainer D. Wayne Lucas. He's got good speed, and he should be a pace factor in the Belmont Stakes, and he's been a confirmed starter. And then Thorpedo Anna, she won the Kentucky Oaks. She's 2 for 2 this year. She has a lot of talent for trainer Ken McPeak. She likes to run up on the pace. If they run in the Belmont Stakes, they're going to have to supplement her to the race for $50,000. They could also run her on another stakes race, Belmont Stakes Week, the Grade 1 Acorn Stakes at 1 1/8 miles against fillies. So that's her 2 options. And I think basically if Mystik Dan runs in the Belmont, she'll run in the Acorn. If for whatever reason he doesn't have the energy and they don't want to run him in the Belmont, I think they're seriously going to consider the Belmont for Thorpedo Anna. So we'll have to see how all that plays out. I'm going to be doing my annual Belmont Stakes full card, and I'm actually going to be covering all 4 full cards for the 4-day Belmont Stakes Festival at Saratoga, June 6th through 9th. And you will be able to get those full cards at the runawayhorse.com on my sales page, Belmont Stakes Week. I've had a lot of success in the Belmont Stakes in recent years. In the last 10 runnings of the Belmont Stakes, I've had winning tickets in my full cards in 8 of the last 10 Belmont Stakes. So it's definitely been my most successful Triple Crown Series race in the last 10 years. During that same time frame, I've hit the Preakness 6 times. I think I've hit the Derby 3 times. So the Belmont's been the race that I've really dominated, and hopefully I'll be able to do well in the Belmont Stakes again in 2024. Now, if you want $3 off my Belmont Stakes full card, in the description in this video, I'll have a promo code, and you'll be able to use that promo code Belmont Stakes Week at the runawayhorse.com on my sales page. So check out the description in this video for some details on that promo code to get $3 off my Belmont Stakes Day full card. And you can read my Belmont Stakes articles at todaysracingdigest.com, and then you can also get Belmont Stakes past performances Belmont Stakes Week at the Digest website as well. And that'll wrap up this video. I'm going to keep checking my YouTube channel. I'm going to keep doing these Belmont Stakes updates. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.